If you wanted to play football back in the 2000s and 2010s, PES was the game you put on. It was basically the perfect game. Messi, Cristiano, Iniesta, Ribery, everyone at their prime. It was the kind of game you turn on to play one match, and before you know it, you've lost the entire day. I played a lot of PES, mainly the 2011, 12, 13. Those editions were peak for me. For that time, this graphics were actually crazy. Weekend matches with friends or Master Leagues, starting with some random team in a league you've literally never heard of. PES had that rare thing that almost no game pulls off. It genuinely got you hooked, and Konami went ahead and destroyed all of it. It wasn't an accident or bad luck. It was actually a series of terrible decisions, one after another, that slowly choked the franchise to death. Konami ignored the fans, cut investment, and switched engines at the worst possible time. What was that supposed to be? They decided the future was mobile, and somehow managed to launch a product so bad that even EA must have been grateful. I'm talking about eFootball, a release so disastrous it went down in history as one of the worst in gaming. But to get to that point, the story goes way deeper. PES didn't die overnight. It was being destroyed from the inside for years, while the other side just kept getting bigger. This is the story of how PES died. So to understand how PES died, we need to go back to the beginning. The football gaming world in the 90s was basically just FIFA. EA had released the first FIFA in 1993 for the Sega Genesis, and they owned the market. It was arcade, fast, and fun, and nothing else even came close. And Konami wanted to change that. So in 1994, they released International Superstar Soccer, known as ISS, for the Super Nintendo. And right away, you could tell this was something different. While FIFA was more casual and arcade, ISS actually wanted to simulate real football. The graphics for the time were genuinely impressive. The players moved more realistically. And for the first time, a football game felt like it was actually trying to replicate the sport. But they still had a problem. The licenses. None of the names or teams were real. Konami simply didn't have the rights, so they made everything up. FIFA still sold more and was way more popular, but anyone who discovered ISS understood that Konami was doing something different, and that was enough to build a loyal fan base. And while they were trying to fix that, Konami's Tokyo division was working on something even bigger. Winning 11, released in Japan in 1995 exclusively for the PlayStation. Winning 11 basically took everything ISS did well and took it to another level. Visually, it was even more impressive, the gameplay was more refined, and the game started building a massive fan base in Japan. Konami kept improving it with every edition, and the fan base just kept growing with it. But they needed to bring this thing to the rest of the world. So in 1999 came ISS Pro Evolution, basically Winning 11 with a different name for Europe and America. And that was the biggest step the franchise ever took before becoming the PES we all know. And that's when the rivalry with FIFA got real. Every single year, it was the same debate. PES or FIFA? People took this way too seriously. You picked a side and not like both. For a good while, PES was winning. PES 5 in 2005 got a perfect 10 out of 10 from the biggest PlayStation magazine in the UK. Keep in mind, most teams didn't even have their real names yet. So what went wrong? Then the PS3 arrived. And with it, the first sign that something was off. PES 8 was the franchise's first game on PS3, and it was a letdown. And of course, FIFA 8 jumped at the opportunity. But Konami fought back. The next 2 years came in better and more stable. And for the first time in franchise history, they got the official Champions League license. And then came the best years of our lives. PES 2011, 12, and 13. 3 editions in a row at the absolute prime. Gameplay was at its best. Champions League and Libertadores in the game. Just thinking about those afternoons makes me want to go back. It was the most complete PES that had ever existed. And unfortunately, it was the last great moment the franchise would ever have. And this is exactly where, at the highest point of the franchise, Konami decided to make a series of decisions so dumb that to this day, nobody really understands what was going through their heads. The first decision was the Fox engine. In 2014, they decided to change the game's graphics engine, which in theory was actually a good idea. The new engine, developed by Konami, promised to take PES to another level. Everyone was hyped until the game came out. It was awful. If you think today's eFootball or FC26 is buggy, it's because you never played that thing. And the gameplay that used to be PES's biggest strength became heavy, weird, and hard to control. It literally felt like they had shipped the game before it was done. PES started falling behind, and anyone picking up a football game for the first time wasn't even considering PES anymore. With every broken release, with every year the visuals felt more outdated, another piece of the fan base walked away. And whoever left for FIFA almost never came back. So of course Konami listened to the community and fixed everything, right? Yeah, they did the exact opposite. They just kept releasing a new game every year like nothing was happening. PES 2015, 16, 17, 18. Each one coming with small changes here and there, but never actually fixing anything. The game was still heavy, still buggy, still feeling outdated. And every year that passed, fewer people were buying it. And trust me, it gets so much worse. And instead of focusing on what always made PES special, they went in the complete opposite direction. In 2015, they launched My Club, the PES's card mode. I have nothing against that kind of mode. I'll talk more about that later. The problem wasn't My Club itself. The problem was that they left Master League, Be a Legend, everything that made PES special, completely behind. While My Club got all the attention, the rest of the game just rotted. And of course, My Club was going to get more attention. That's where the money was. The same model Ultimate Team was using to make billions off microtransactions and card packs. But why did Ultimate Team succeed and My Club didn't? Even though I'm a big critic of EA, I can't deny that they managed to balance Ultimate Team with the other modes. Career mode kept getting updated. They released The Journey, which was a huge success. Even Volta, which nobody asked for, showed up a few years later. And it still felt like a complete game. And if you didn't care about My Club, you had nowhere to go. Master League was abandoned, Be a Legend forgotten, and PES felt lost. Konami didn't know what they wanted to be. They didn't fully drop the classic modes, but they didn't invest in them either. Master League was stuck in limbo. Be a Legend existed, but it felt like nobody at Konami even remembered that. And then out of nowhere, finally something good happened. The beloved PES 2021. And this game was good. Genuinely good. The gameplay was balanced, fluid, and responsive. If you don't know how good this game actually was, people are still playing PES 2021 with mods to this day, with updated mods with the current season. An entire community dedicating time and effort to keep an abandoned game alive. If that doesn't say everything about what PES meant to people, I don't know what does. So everything was fixed, and the next release was going to be a huge success, and everyone was going to love it, right? Well, not exactly. They looked at PES 21, saw the community excited, saw the game working, and decided that was the perfect time to throw everything away and start from scratch. In 2021, Konami announced they were retiring PES after almost 20 years. They were going to launch a brand new game, free to play, with a new engine, just like in 2014. The promise was big. A different game, constantly updated, no more annual release cycle. Something completely different and exciting. The name? eFootball. Released on September 30th, 2021. One of the worst launches in gaming history. eFootball came in at under 10% positive reviews on Steam, the worst rated game in the platform's history. To give you an idea, the game launched with just over 1,600 average players on Steam. By October, the first full month, it had already dropped to 800. And there was a reason for that. The game was built for mobile. Konami saw how massive the mobile market was and went after that money. Over 86% of eFootball players are on mobile. What landed on console and PC was basically a port of a game designed for a phone screen. It's genuinely sad. A franchise that sold over 100 million copies. One of the biggest gaming franchises in the world. A game that defined an entire generation of people who loved football and loved gaming. Just gone. And what hurts the most as a PES fan is that it lost to FIFA, a game that is basically the same thing every year for $80. And for real, EA has its merits, of course, but they didn't do anything extraordinary. They just didn't destroy what they had. Konami chose mobile. They chose to chase an audience that had never played PES, that was never going to have that emotional connection with the franchise, that would just download the game today and uninstall it tomorrow. Just look at this menu. It's genuinely depressing. The visual clutter is insane. Event banners, package deals everywhere. It's really sad. Today, eFootball averages just over 12,000 active players in the last 30 days on Steam. EAFC has 41,000. But looking more carefully, the game has been slowly growing. From under 600 average players in November 2021 to hitting its all-time peak on Steam in January 2026. I'm not going to pretend that's an impressive number, but it is growth, and that makes me a little happy. Because deep down, I still hope they wake up, realize what they have in their hands, and do something worthy of the history they've built. The problem is that the current state of football games is kinda weird. They basically turned into casinos. Ultimate Team, My Club, having to buy cards with power boosts for your player. I get it from the business side though. If I was in their position, I'd probably do the same thing. The money this generates is insane. It makes sense from a business perspective. It's just a shame that the ones paying the price are exactly the people who were always there. The real fans, who just wanted a good football game. And suddenly it all makes sense. The aggressive microtransactions, the lack of offline modes, the definitive abandonment of Master League. All of it together made the fans who had stuck around until the end, who had defended PES through its darkest years, who had celebrated PES 21 as a sign that things were finally getting better, finally walk away. I needed to talk about PES, because this game was part of my life in a way that very few ever managed. From the tournaments with friends to my forgotten player and Be a Legend, I have real memories tied to PES. of people, places, or moments that are never coming back. And it's crazy how a game can do that to you. If this video brought back any good memories for you too, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And leave a comment below telling me your favorite edition. I really want to know. So thank you, Pez, for everything you were. And who knows, with a little luck and maybe some good decisions, you might just find your way back to what you once were.